So this is my first time in a fully autonomous vehicle, but I've seen them around my area. They're driving around, I see no driver, but I also see the swirly thing on top. I see a bunch of different kind of appendages to the car. So maybe you could just break that down. Like, what is happening? How is all this technology coming together? And what are the bits and pieces that you've added onto the car that allow it to be autonomous?
Absolutely. So fundamentally, you can think of it like, is the car aware of what's happening around it? And then can it anticipate what the things around it are going to do? And then reasoning on what it should do next. These are sort of the three components. In perceiving what's around us, this car with those appendages, as you mentioned, can see 3 football fields away, 360 degree, and it's getting a snapshot multiple times a second. Right? And it's relying on a combination of the state-of-the-art laser, camera, radars, all strategically positioned. So to give you an idea, lasers give you a very precise understanding of everything around you. It's the smallest detail. So if there was a child, an inch out of this pole, it will be able to mark, oh, this is a demarcated, child away from that pole. It will get to see that. The cameras are needed to distinguish between the red light and the green light. And the radars can almost see around corners, even when the laser and the camera or our human eyes can't, because they can sense objects coming in. And so we took an approach that we want to combine the best strengths of each of these modalities to create the best picture of what you can see around the world, that you're just incredibly better than a human possibly could, both due to the attention span, the range, the fidelity, and the combination of these sensors coming together.
The rivalry in self-driving is LiDAR versus, Tesla Vision or the video processing. How has Waymo thought about that decision of what, some people pose it as expensive hardware, more simple software because you have so much fidelity from LiDAR versus a bunch of cameras and just like a lot heavier processing? Like, is there a future where maybe actually you don't need all of the same sensing systems?
Personally, I have found the LiDAR and video debate almost takes like an ideological sense. For hard problems, like the innovation arc that we're talking about, the best approach is taking a first principles approach, right? Without neither love nor hate for a specific technology. That it's a technology, it's a tool. And LiDAR clearly has strengths that a camera doesn't. For example, at nighttime, even the best cameras will have some challenges. And camera clearly has strengths that the LiDAR doesn't. And similarly, radar has strengths that LiDARs and cameras don't. So saying you love LiDARs and hate cameras, or vice versa, is saying you love one wavelength versus the other wavelength, right? It's not a fundamental thing. But there is a practical question. So clear on the first principles, does the combination of these sensors position you better than individual? The answer is yes. We can show you that there are situations in which camera will be insufficient. Now the question is a practical economic one. Is your ability to bring this public good to a large number of individuals hindered by the fact that these things are expensive?
Yes.
And LiDARs, 20 years ago, if somebody told you that all these Toyotas or these cars are going to have radars, you'd be like, no, radars are expensive. Guess what? Every single, most cars have radars today. Cameras on cell phones were a novelty. The old Nokia phones would have, you'd be like, oh, who needs a camera on a phone,
like
right? You may have, I'm sure now cell phones have better cameras than dedicated cameras of 6 years ago. LiDAR is going through the same transformation. Right now, the iPhones have LiDARs, right? The amount we have been able to cost down these LiDARs in the last 2 years is incredible.
So you're not concerned about that?
No. And we had 4 or 5 years ago, we had that belief. Now we have that proof.